I think it's really important to talk about the fact that not only is there a massive and ongoing cover up of the Epstein documents and protecting certain individuals from accountability, but there is a dedicated targeting of survivors. There have been three major releases of Epstein documents so far: December 19th, December 23rd, and then also January 30th. And in every single one of those, even after the Epstein transparency document was signed that was supposed to protect victims' identities have been exposed in all three of them. And I think it is a deliberate targeting. They are trying to put the identities of these victims out there, victims who have not publicly come forward in the past for fear of their safety. They are deliberately putting their names out there for periods of time so that they can be targeted and harassed. Just in this last batch, there were 43 individuals who were identified who had not been publicly identified before, survivors. 24 of them were minors. And so those names have now been released. The DOJ then immediately starts to backpedal when they're called out for it and say, like, oh, we'll go fix those. So sorry about that. Again, the Transparency Act itself talked about that the only thing that could be redacted was information, personal information, to protect survivors. So when they talk about, going through these millions of documents and 500 individuals and hours upon hours to scrub all of these things, you could do a freaking name search. They know who the names of the survivors are. You could do a name search and remove that from releases. And they have not. They have deliberately thrown those names out into the public eye so that some of the nut jobs who we know are out there and are attacking, congresswomen can go ahead and lob insults and death threats at these survivors. And I think that's absolutely on purpose. So when they talk about protecting survivors, again, I think it's a deliberate, they're opening up the window so that those individuals can be targeted and hopefully, in their eyes, silenced so that they won't speak out. And I'm really interested in someone proving me wrong here. After three different times of these apparently highly competent individuals, three different times they've done this now, despite saying we're the most transparent administration, we're going to follow the law, and we're going to find justice, and we're going to protect the victims. They're deliberately putting survivors' names out there for people to find so that they can be targeted. And so again, it's not just a cover-up and holding things back that are going to affect the elite and the rich and prevent them from being held accountable. It is a deliberate targeting of survivors. And I think that this should be weighed into every decision that comes down the road as we expose more and more of this and we hold people accountable. Because it's not just the individuals who were a part of the abuse. It has to be the people who covered it up and deliberately covered it up and chose to go after survivors to protect the rich and wealthy and perverted. Thanks.